great to be in Austin. Thanks for letting me come home. I missed the first speeches. We were out at the health center, seeing a lot of our fantastic Planned Parenthood employees out in South Austin. We should give them a big round of applause. Amazing work. But I know there's a lot of folks here today. I heard there's some kids from St. Ed's. Is that right? Very good. And law students for reproductive justice. Yeah. And UT students for reproductive justice. Okay, I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. The University Democrats. Excellent, excellent. I'm very glad that the Texas Freedom Network is represented here today. That's great. Well, it's so important that you're here today. I mean, I'm sure you've heard around the country that somehow, in this country, in 2012, we seem to be debating whether or not women in this country should have access to birth control. Which, who knew that this presidential election might now turn on whether or not women in this country should be allowed to get access to not only health care in America, but birth control access. So it's very exciting to be in Austin a week after last Friday, literally 1 week ago, the president called me on the phone to say that he was about to go for a press conference in the White House to announce that he was committing yet again, standing strong for the fact that every single woman in this country, regardless of where they work, regardless of where they go to school, deserve and will get affordable health care and will get birth control coverage through their insurance plans for no copay, no deductible. This is revolutionary in our country. This is fantastic, and it's time that it happens. Now, for some people, birth control still seems to be a controversial topic, despite the fact that 99% of women in America use birth control. 98% of Catholic women use birth control. And for women, it's not a controversial issue. It's not a social issue. It's an issue of health care, and it's an issue of economics. And so when this birth control coverage now goes into effect, it'll mean women in America can get birth control for no expensive copay, no expensive deductible, and for a lot of women here and a lot of women across the country, that means $600 more that you can put towards your education, towards groceries, towards rent, towards your schooling. And that is something to celebrate in America for sure. Why it's so great that you're here today. I know there are literally hundreds of events going on across campuses all across the country because there are folks in Congress who actually want to take away this benefit. There are folks who believe that states should have the right to ban birth control coverage in their states. And there are folks who are running for president, like Mitt Romney, who have said they will, on their first day in office, he has pledged to reverse this decision and take away birth control coverage for every woman in America, and we can't let that happen, right? So, you may have noticed, I was in Dallas last night, and I went on Facebook, and I noticed a post, which I don't know if any of y'all have seen, but apparently there was a hearing yesterday in Congress. I use hearing in the most generous terms, but there was a hearing yesterday on whether or not women should have access to birth control coverage. And do you know who was there to testify? Men. 5 men, exactly. 5 people who will never use birth control. We had one woman, a Georgetown University student, who was prepared to testify, and the Republican leadership refused to allow her to testify. They only wanted to hear from men. So what do you have to say about that? Absolutely no way, right? It is time that the people who use birth control are heard in Congress and are heard across the country, and that's why it's important that you're here today. We've got to tell folks there is no way we are going back to the 1950s and the 1960s when women in America couldn't get access to birth control coverage. Am I right? This is really, really serious. This is really, really serious. This is a matter of our health. This is what Planned Parenthood believes in, is that every woman should have the chance to have birth control coverage. And so what we need to do in the next couple of weeks, when the president called me last week, he said, we need to hear from you. We need to hear from Planned Parenthood supporters. We need to hear from students. We need to hear from women who need to speak up to Congress. They need to speak up to these presidential candidates to say, there is no way we are going back. So are you ready to do that? Yeah! It's really important. We need the Texas legislature to hear that, because you may know that Governor Rick Perry and the Texas legislature just cut nearly 300,000 women in the state of Texas off of family planning services and cancer screenings. Is that right? No way. Exactly. So this is a time when we got to start speaking up. We got to speak up. We got to educate other folks, and we got to vote. Is that right? Because this is the thing. The thing to remember about the election in November, and now I'm speaking as the president of the Planned Parenthood Action Fund, which is going to be actively involved in this election. This is who's going to determine the next election and who the next president is. It's going to be women and it's going to be young people. And that's who's here today, right? It literally is in our hands. And what we saw in the last few weeks, last year when the United States Congress, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to defund Planned Parenthood to try to throw 2 million women off of birth control coverage and cancer screenings and preventive care. More than 1 million new activists joined Planned Parenthood, and half of them are young people, and they're registered to vote. So this is the time when we need to not just complain about things, we need to take action. So this is the first step, right? You need to communicate with everybody you know about what's going on in the state legislature, what's going on in Congress, and what's going on in the presidential election. I need you to go to, first you need to like us on Facebook, okay? Can you do that? Okay, excellent. Next, you need to go to Women Are Watching, right? That's where we're posting all the information you need to know about where candidates are standing on issues like birth control and reproductive rights in this country, okay? And then you need to post on your own Facebook page the information that you know, because that is how we're going to change this country, it's how we're going to change this election, and it's how we're going to stand strong for women in this country, for young people in this country to have access to the health care that is their God-given right. And that is access to birth control and to plan their families and have children when they are ready to have a family. So, are you with me? Yeah! I gotta tell you, we can do this in Austin, we can do this in Texas, we can do this across the country. And it really is in our hands. It is our decision to make what direction we want this country to take. And being here with you today makes me feel like we're ready to go. We're ready to go in Austin. We're ready to tell Congress, you can't take away our birth control rights because we're not going to let you. That's what I need you to do. Thank you so much for what you do here. Thanks to all of our student groups. Can we hear from all the student groups and all the Planned Parenthood?
Thank you so much, Cecile. Can we get another round of applause? Great. Well, thanks, you guys. Let's keep that energy together for just a few more minutes. We're going to have some more information coming up for you. But I want to give the UDEMs a quick chance to, talk about their organization and some of the great work they're doing here.
Hey guys, my name is Leslie Tisdale. I'm the Vice President of the University Democrats here at UT. And I'm mad as hell. I am mad as hell that people are trying to tell me what to do with my body. Are you mad as hell? I think that's why we're here. I think that is why we're here. I think we're here to make sure that Republican men don't have say over what I do with my uterus. That might not be politically correct, but that's what's going on. So I want all of you, UDEMs, UT students, St. Ed's, anyone here, come to UDEM's meetings. We went there. Come to UDEM's meetings. We talk about this stuff. We get stuff done. We are action. We are with Planned Parenthood. We are with TFN. We are here for women and we're here for men that want comprehensive sex education, that want birth control, and that want it to be free and available to us or at low affordable rates. That's what we want. I'm sorry. This is our president, Huey Fisher. He's a guy, so I didn't want him to get up here and talk about his uterus. So please come out. We're Wednesdays, 8 p.m. in GEA 105. And we're going to get stuff done. This is a presidential election season. There are some primaries coming up. We need to tell Congress, we need to tell these old white Republican men that this is not what we want.